Hey y'all, it's me, Dree. This collective message actually feels a lot lighter than what we've been sitting in lately. Straight away, the emotional energy here feels like the collective is finally realizing that trying to control everything has actually been blocking the very thing y'all have been needing the most, and that's connection. So we start with destiny reverse, vulnerability, and empathy. So this message starts, and this destiny reverse is telling me that y'all have been gripping the outcome of something a little too tightly, trying to force timing, force clarity, force certainty, force protection. But this card, it literally says to let go of control and to trust that the universe is leading you exactly where you need to be. And I'm getting that the second this collective does loosen their grip just a little bit, that's when vulnerability enters. This card talks about how opening emotionally is a strength, not a weakness. And I'm getting that this collective is finally realizing that protecting yourself and hiding yourself, those are not the same thing. Because vulnerability, this is what allows authenticity to surface. Because this card literally says, allow yourself to be seen fully. And then with that, this empathy comes in. And this is where emotional understanding deepens connections. This is where compassion sets in and it expands your world. And I'm getting that some of y'all are finally allowing y'all selves to experience relationships differently, because y'all are no longer approaching every connection from survival mode. This feels softer. This feels safer. It feels more emotionally honest to me. So let's get into the actual message, because it starts with the Queen of Coins, the Death Reverse, and Solar Eclipse. So this feels like stabilization before transformation. This Queen of Coins feels like the collective learning how to ground themselves first. This is y'all becoming more organized, more realistic, more emotionally mature, and even more nurturing towards yourselves instead of constantly pouring energy outward. I'm sorry. Then I have this death card that lands. This is deep transformation energy. This is not a surface level change. This is an internal clearing. This is purging, rebirth. This is metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. Well, how do you say that word? Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. I'm getting that the old version of yourself simply cannot move into the next phase of life anymore. And with the solar eclipse here, this is a cosmic trigger, and it comes in and activates this internal change completely. This card says big changes are coming. It also says a catalyst for change and beginnings. So when I look at this whole first column, it feels like the universe responding to the internal work this collective has already done. This doesn't feel like collapse to me. This feels more like emergence. Let's go to the second column. We have the Chariot, the Ace of Coins, and the Hierophant reverse. So this feels kind of exciting because after all the emotional heaviness and stagnation that we've been sitting in lately, this is finally movement. The Chariot, this feels like determination returning, focus returning, direction returning. I'm getting that the collective is no longer emotionally parked in the same place. This is your world moving too. No more stagnation I'm getting. And because this movement begins, this Ace of Coins can land. And this feels like real opportunity, real stability. This feels like real abundance, real potential. This is not fantasy. This is not breadcrumbs. And this is not survival. This feels grounded. And then this Hierophant reverse, well, this tells me why this new beginning is arriving. This is because the collective stopped trying to conform to expectations, to systems, relationships, and identities that never fully aligned with who y'all actually are. Because this card says, think for yourself. And honestly, I'm getting that some of y'all finally gave yourselves permission to live differently instead of constantly trying to fit inside roles that were draining your spirit. Because this whole middle column feels like liberation. That feeling has been very strong lately for me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm guessing that it is. And then we end. Two of Swords, Knight of Swords reverse, Five of Coins reversed. So this feels like the breakthrough moment. Because this card says the collective was mentally stuck for a very long time, avoiding something, possibly unable to fully decide, maybe sitting at an impasse. But then this Knight of Swords cuts directly through the fog. This feels like sudden clarity. This feels like truth, movement, direct communication, fast realization. This feels like something finally clicks here for the collective. And because of that, this Five of Coins reverse gets to close the whole spread down. And this, honestly, is my favorite energy for this entire reading, more than the Ace of Coins and more than the Chariot, because even though this is not a major arcana, this card says out of the woods, recovery, acceptance. It says positive changes. It says rebuild, and it says turning point. So I'm getting that this collective is finally moving out of survival mode. And not because the journey was easy, but because y'all stopped resisting the transformation that was trying to happen internally the entire time. But to be even more honest, I think the deeper message here feels a little bit more like the second this collective stopped trying to control every outcome in their reality, life started flowing again for the collective. The second y'all allowed yourselves to become emotionally honest, the heaviness started lifting for the collective. And now, for the first time in probably a pretty long time, or a long while, this spread is actually feeling very hopeful. Not forced positivity, and not illusion, not bypassing either, but I'm getting real hope, because this spread feels like the collective is finally finding themselves again after a long, dark season of emotional resistance. And that's the message that I have for y'all today. So if this one resonated with y'all, please send me your energy. I love hearing how these messages are landing for y'all. So like my message, leave a comment, and follow along. And as always, remember, where there is love, there is light. I'll see you all again real soon.